My name is Mihir Gulabbhai and I'll be showing you the capabilities and doing a demo on Epicor's Advanced MES. To start off with, what we have in front of us is a mock-up of a smart factory. Just to run through the components quickly, we have a Dobot Magician which was programmed and different sensors which are actually external sensors such as a color sensor. We do have proximity sensors located on a conveyor belt which is used to convey the material, and certain sensors on our waste bin and on our good production bin, which is just a monitor of the good production we're reintroducing back into the production. The other components which we do have is Epicor's Advanced MIU, which is actually a machine interface unit, which is where all the signal components join together and is then hence transmitted through our software. Additionally to that, from an operator's point of view, we have HMI, which is a human machine interface, which is a tablet which contains of an easy to use software layout, which can be wireless as well, to allow an operator to walk around with it and start monitoring specific things, as well as doing certain things such as call for help, which I will touch on later. What we are trying to show is actually doing a mock-up of a smart factory, whereby we actually are using different sensors. So the sensors can either be physical sensors that are added onto the machinery, which then interface with the machine interface unit. So that's an actual physical wiring, which we note as your standard cycle parameters. The next thing we can have is, what if we are able to actually use a specific PLC, which is programmable logic controller data from the actual machine, or if we are able to use certain Wi-Fi modules to transmit actual data. We are then able to connect that through our Advanced MES software using a software called Kepware, which then registers the specific data tags and collects the data tags from an on-machine or inbuilt sensor, and will then able to then read it, and you'll be able to have a view of those specific parameters being recorded. So that just touches on the two different sort of connections that we can have. What we have in this case is we have a conveyor belt, which is actually consisting of different color blocks, which is running on a conveyor. And this is just to simulate what could happen on a potential production floor. The next thing is just want to touch on is our actual machine interface unit. So in terms of the Advanced MES software, there's two ways to actually able to connect factory. So in terms of IoT means, we can either do a wired connection, and that is by physically connecting the specific signals to the actual machine interface unit. And the second option is for us to being able to, provided that we can read PLC data from the machine, we then use a software called Kepware. So Kepware essentially helps monitor and read the data from a machine via an OPC connection, which is just a very open-based connection, which is made possible by OPC cards, which is actually based on the manufacturer. Or we can read specific PLC data, such as the data tags or specific registers or protocols within that PLC, and we are then hence able to read specific data such as the temperature of the machine, the cycle time of the machine, meaning the speed it takes to produce one unit. We're able to then look at things such as humidity, temperatures, and any possible things that you are able to actually sense. The next thing is, as I mentioned, on the OPC side, the OPC side limits the actual physical wires, since we're actually using through either a LAN cable or through wireless connectivity, being able to actually link and integrate into the internal sensors of the machine. Again, to touch on it again, we either can have physical wire connections, or we can have OPC connections, which is a very open-based connection based on being able to connect to actual machine sensors. The next thing I do want to touch on is, what sort of sensors can we actually use in this case? So in this situation that I have now, I'm just using something as simple as a color sensor. I'm using proximity sensors, but that doesn't limit it to what we are actually able to read. Based on the production plant, we could add in temperature sensors, we could add in certain pressure sensors, we could add in a speed encoder, which is actually a speed monitor on the conveyor to see how fast it's actually moving. We are then able to connect any different sensor either by means of a physical connection or by means of an OPC, which is through a PLC. The next thing is, it doesn't have to be specific to a factory. What if you have a greenhouse and you want to measure things such as light intensity, and you want to measure things such as humidity and temperatures? All of that is possible. All of this is possible remotely as well. You don't physically have to be within the factory, or you don't physically have to be on your printing facility or your farm for that matter. You're able to all view all of this information remotely.